All right, we're going to go ahead and add one more account to the demo account that we're running right now. So we are in a different account than the original walkthrough in Twilio here. We're just going to grab the SID for this account, head over to Call Tracking Pro, and add a new account with this SID and with this auth token. And going a little faster on this one just because we covered it in more detail, a lot more detail in the video specifically about this. But did want to go ahead and add one more account. You can see here now that we have two. Each of these are editable, but when we go back over into numbers, we should be able to see the phone numbers from each of the Twilio accounts. The first Twilio account is the 13th Fletch account that we pulled in first, and then at the bottom here should be the second Twilio account that we just now pulled in. So the phone number attached to this Twilio account, the 602-313-0580, is currently inactive, meaning that it is not configured to do anything through Call Tracking Pro. All right, we're going to go ahead and configure one of our phone numbers here. In Call Tracking Pro, we have added two different Twilio accounts to the same management account. So that would be the one of the features that comes along with one of our tiers. But we are looking here at the dashboard. We want to look at the phone numbers that are within our Call Tracking Pro account, both from the Twilio accounts that we've added. The first account shows up here, 13thfletch@gmail.com, all the numbers associated with it. And then down here at the very bottom is the second Twilio account that I just set up, that we ran the tutorial on for people who have not set up or had not set up a Twilio account up to this point. And then the phone number associated with it, currently only being one, is the 602-313-0580 phone number. Okay, so on the right side, we talked about this a little bit in one of the other videos, is how we toggle whether this phone number is going to be managed through Call Tracking Pro or potentially elsewhere. So we are going to effectively move this over to the right side, which enables this software to control that phone number, what it does, its behaviors. And the first thing that we are cued to do is to select a call template. Now these call templates match up with what you'll find in the different template videos that we have. But we're going to start with this being a very simple setup, which is just a one-to-one call forward. Now, this is important. One of my primary businesses is a digital marketing agency. The phone number that I have on there is a number that I can track, meaning that I know how many phone calls came in, what number they came from, how long I was on the phone with them. I have them forwarded to my either cell phone when I'm in the office and I'm taking inbound calls, or to someone that is dedicated to receive sales calls. As we expand this, which should happen fairly rapidly, we'll be able to put what's called a call tree in place, which you see the option for already, but we'll have some training on that as well. So if you were calling into a single phone number, you would be able to say to someone who is calling, press 1 for sales, press 2 for support, press 3 for media inquiries and things of that nature, right? Each of those phone numbers then can be connected with a different either landline or cell phone. So let's just go ahead and jump into that. We're going to cover a lot more of the strategic training in a completely different set of videos. But for now, let's set up the one-to-one call forward. And we want to forward this. Let's just go ahead and forward this one to my cell phone number, which is there. And we have a few options once we have forwarded this to a phone number. One is to record, okay? You'll want to check with your local kind of authorities or legislation to make sure that what you are recording is legal, right? So in the medical industry and certain other industries, there are restrictions on what you can record. Certainly not a lawyer, not giving any lawyer advice, but I have found that many times if you are recording, you'll need to disclose that you're recording, right? That's one of the reasons why these different call centers that people call into, I'm sure you've probably done it yourself, you've called in and they say, this call is being recorded for quality assurance or for training purposes or whatever that might be. Okay, you can put what's called a greeting, and that's the second toggle that we have there, so that the person calling in will hear something. Okay, so let's go ahead and set this up to record and also put a greeting on. You'll notice when I toggled the greeting on, it says greeting type. We get a drop down here, so we can select either a text to speech, which means that I can type in, hello, you have reached Search Explosion, 1 minute please, right? Okay, so let's just do that first. The other ones are pretty self-explanatory. Those are custom audio clips. Our system allows you to record and upload effectively MP3 files, audio files, or WAV files that our system will play when someone is calling in. So we have professional voice talent as well as script writers that can do some of that for you. All that's not kind of seamlessly integrated yet, so I don't want to talk about it too much, but if you wanted to record a custom MP3 file and upload it to the system, this allows you to do that. Right now we're just going to go with the text to speech, and the greeting message text to speech, we're just going to type in what we want. Hello, you have reached Search Explosion, 1 minute please. Okay, and we're just going to, so that was the greeting. That's what someone is going to hear when they're calling into that phone number, the 602-313-0580. Okay, the whisper message is on the opposite end. So when someone calls that number and it gets forwarded right now to the way this is configured, my cell phone number, I will hear whatever this whisper message is, and that has the same types, right? A text to speech will say, you have a call from Search Explosions. I'm just going to take phone number. Sometimes the hyphenation or the contractions, right? Like adding a apostrophe S. A little bit kind of weird with the text to speech right now, so I usually simplify it a little bit, right? Okay, so that's the whisper message. That's what the recipient of that phone call is going to hear before the phone call is connected. And then the last piece is lead tracking, okay? Lead tracking is a fairly important feature that I really was one of the primary features that I wanted to have in place, which is why I kind of built the software in the first place or designed it. One of my primary business models leading up to this point after becoming kind of an online marketer was lead generation for other companies. So a lot of that was based on building websites or social media properties or videos or whatever other listings on the internet I would have. I would put a phone number that I owned and controlled and tracked the phone number as far as how many calls came through, and then just forwarded that to local business people. I was in effect a marketer for them on their behalf, and they paid me on performance, right? So that is lead tracking. That doesn't it doesn't limit you in only using lead tracking for campaigns like that. It's very possible that you would want to have lead tracking in place for your own business, right? I would want to maybe separate out the phone calls that were over 45 seconds from the ones under 45 seconds. Maybe the under 45 seconds were folks who asked a simple question and that just, we weren't the right fit for them. If they called us and they asked if we did, if we designed promotional pamphlets or something like that. That's not really something we do. I said, no, we don't really do that. They said, okay, thanks, hung up. It's a 35-second call. I don't want that necessarily to be part of the metrics that I consider when I'm determining how well our phone, phone call conversion is going. So when we enable the lead track button here, this last button, you'll see the next piece that opens up, which is lead time in seconds. Many of the strategies you can use if you are doing lead gen for a company are going to be based on what their inbound sales script is. Okay, so they're going to get the caller's name and phone number and address and things of that nature, ask them a little bit more about the project or the service that they need in construction, which is what I did a lot with. still do a lot with. I would work with the company to understand the type of information that they would collect when a user calls them and figure out about how many seconds that takes, okay? So let's just say that takes 45 seconds. We can go ahead and scroll this up to 45 seconds. Now at 45 seconds, what this means is that every call over 45 seconds is going to go into a different bucket in your dashboard. You're going to be able to look there and say, oh, we had 15 calls this week that were over 45 seconds. We're going to bill the customer for those 15 calls. We had another 35 calls that were under 45 seconds. We're not going to bill the customer for those calls because they didn't meet the criteria that we have set, with the customer. Each customer is different. Each sales script is different, so each of these can be unique. This is only for this one phone number. That lead tracking criteria is only for this phone number. Each phone number can have a different criteria placed on it. Okay, so once we've got this in place, it's a simple one-to-one forward. It's forwarding to my cell phone currently. We have all of our options enabled, and sorry about that. My phone number was ringing. Probably wasn't this because I haven't even cut it yet. But we have a text-to-speech on the whisper. A text-to-speech on the greeting, which means this is what the caller will hear. We have a text-to-speech on the whisper, and then we have a tracking set up for 45 seconds. We just simply hit save, and once this saves, we now see that this takes on a different, visual look than the other buttons that are still grayed out. Right? We are not currently doing anything with those other phone numbers that are in this current dashboard, but we are with this one, right? And you can also see over on the left side, it says active. That means Call Tracking Pro, this software, is managing calls that come through this phone number, the 602-313-0580 phone number, okay? So that is how you set up and configure a phone number through Call Tracking Pro. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. We, like I said, got more features on the way, but the simplest configuration with all the options, the one-to-one, the greeting, the whisper, the lead tracking, and the recording are all in place, okay? One thing I did want to mention, let's go back in here and edit this. So you'll just click on the 3 lines to edit this phone number, or actually the gear, I'm sorry, to edit this phone number. Since I mentioned that because we're recording this, sometimes you need to be a little more careful. Hello, you've reached Search Explosion. We are going to change this a little bit. We're not going to say 1 minute, please. We are going to say this phone call may be recorded for quality and training purposes. Okay, so that's called disclosure. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know exactly what disclosure means as far as the legal parlance goes, but anyways, it covers a couple bases. And if you need to go in and edit one of these, they're completely editable. So I'll just hit save again, and now that's in place. Okay, so that is how to set up a phone number, configure it with one of the currently 2 options. We're going to have a couple more in place, but really the one-to-one and the call tree are the basis of what most people are going to be using this system for, at least getting started and getting up to speed. So I hope this was helpful for you. Let me know if you've got any questions. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.